Hey guys, it's Kage, and this is going to be my final update for the Blackflame Ignite. This was a build that I yoinked from Connor. I went more mana focused than he did. I'm hitting 11k mana with the current setup, and I hit 100. This is going to be the final update. The TLDW is overall, this is a good build. I played it from Act 3 in the campaign all the way to this point, with only the investment from my initial league starter, and that was about 20 divine pre-inflation. Post-inflation, obviously things are out of whack. I don't know how to price things or say what type of investment you need to make the build work. Fire spells are the biggest issue with this build. You are very limited because the amount of fire spells that we have that we can do. You pretty much have for primary skills, Fireball. Fusillade takes a bit too much to work. Flame Wall can't be used on its own. Living Bomb can't be used on its own. Firestorm can't really be used on its own. Flame Blast has a cooldown, so it can't be a primary skill. Incinerate requires fuel. The only primary skill is Fireball. And the problem with Fireball is it is really, really good when you hit Psions and you have an infusion. However, if you don't have an infusion and you don't have Psions, it feels terrible. So I am now using Arc instead. The other problem with this build is Incinerate has a low ceiling for damage. Once you start killing something in under 5 seconds, which is the max amount of time you can do Incinerate, you start losing. The diminishing returns really hit there. Because let's say you want to kill something in 2.5 seconds, not only do you need to double your damage, but you need to double it again because you're losing half your total damage because you're only getting the Incinerate up to 50% of its total strength at that point. So I might be even wrong on like the half mark. But that's pretty much the problem. Because of the way Incinerate works with the compounding ignite, it has a very low ceiling. The max hit on this build is great. I'm probably, while I'm rambling here, showing my character just standing AFK and an ultimatum. It has a good amount of max hit and recovery. There was only one thing that one-shot me on the way up to 100. Finally, just again, I want to reiterate, I am multiple mirror of investment. My gear is crazy. Like, this is a 3-socket, 30% quality helm with triple T1 energy shield. You do not need this to make the build work. This is me just having too much currency and wanting to throw it at my build because I wanted to. If you want a guide, look at Connor. He has a guide for this. This is mostly just going to be a showcase. And to do that, I'm going to do 2 Breachstones here while I kind of talk about my thoughts of the build. So you'll see the one thing that I'm doing here is I'm using Arc now instead of Fireball. The first one here I'm going to do is Arc. As you can see, with my level of investment, Arc just deals enough damage. Like you can see here, the majority of my damage is Chaos. I'm doing about double the amount of Chaos damage as I'm doing lightning damage. And that's all just coming from the Ascendancy having 11k mana. I also have a Wrathpith wand set up for Arc specifically because Wrathpith does not infect Incinerate because it's non-channeling spells. You can do the same setup with Fireball as well, and that's what I'll be doing in the showcase. So the Wrath Pith is completely unnecessary for the build. It was just to improve my clear, because like I have 100% crit rate with Arc on this. But yeah, Fireball was just too inconsistent. Incinerate, I don't like the compound change because it's honestly just worse than the old Incinerate. Old Incinerate, you could preload on a boss. That way you shortened the amount of ramp time you needed and you could kill things pretty much instantly. Now you kind of just, you're stuck killing things within a 5-second window while doing less damage than previous Incinerate. Compounding would be great if you just did a bit more damage on top of it, because it does make a great league starting skill. It is great for the fact that like you can just league start with it. Here will be the single target showcase. I personally am probably gonna go and try an Infernalist next league. So single target setup, I throw down a Lightning Storm, Despair, and then I just throw down my Incinerate. You can see there I tanked his Fizz shotgun thing or whatever, as well as just stood there holding Incinerate. He's dead. Are you fucking kidding me? That's the big one too, right? YouTuber RNG. Okay. So this next one, let me switch Siones here for Fiery Death on Fireball, and that way I can use that there. So yeah, that was like my first kill this, or aside from getting my talent points. So let me swap to Fireball and show you the difference. So you'll see like this first one, Fireball barely does anything. However, once you start getting infusions and you start getting the Siones procs, it does feel pretty good. But it's just that problem of until you get those procs, it's very inconsistent. And that's my only problem with Fireball.
None can oppose
me. It is a great skill. It is fun to have the purple Fireball explosions. It just is way too inconsistent. I hope GGG does something about that at some point. The infusion system, I still don't think really hit as well as it should have. So yeah, while I was leveling to 100, Arc just became more consistent because that's what I enjoyed using. You can absolutely do Fireball. It does work. I just find it way more inconsistent. Yeah, I think I was saying I want to try this with Infernalist next league so that I have a wider variety of spells that I can use. Archmage is also per mana more damage. The main thing Lich does have is it has the better defensive profile. Because of the fact that you get that extra jewel socket, I can easily hit my mind over matter percentage. That becomes a bit harder and pretty much requires Adorned if I want to use a mana Darkness Enthroned. So I'm going to be trying that next league because doing something like Comet, I obviously have a bit more ceiling for the build. Swedge, look at him. He was pretty much one-shotting bosses, and the Ignite just kind of helped finish it off. So that was the showcase. You can see single target's great. Tankiness is great. I'm face tanking tier 4 Zesht or whatever. Crafting. I did go over the staff craft in the last one, but to go over again, I would buy a magic base with the damages extra fire and mana regen. I would then use a essence for cast speed, and then desecrate with Kurgle on the prefix, throw a fracturing orb. You fracture damage extra fire, you're good. You just do a sinistral perfect sorcery to then get +5 spells. Your suffixes are done at that point. You can do another Kurgle desecrate and then unveil to get the spell damage per max mana. This will also block regular percent spell damage on the staff. You do the final exalt, either greater, perfect, whatever you can fit on your budget. And you're looking for either a high tier of percent chaos damage or a high tier of flat mana. Flat mana provides survivability as well as damage, whereas chaos is just damage. The thing that you can then do, and this is what I was doing for my staffs, anything that missed that final slam, so let's say I hit fire or lightning damage on my staff. I don't really do lightning damage aside from my arc, which isn't even really synergistic with the build. So you buy a random staff with tier 1 mana and you recombinate the old staff, picking everything but the desecrate and the dead mod, and then the tier 1 mana on the new staff. I believe these were about an 8% chance without the lucky, so obviously add that on top. And then if you ever hit the recom, your staff is done. So it was a good way to reuse the bases pretty much. I then sanctified this as a flex. I would just probably try like ladder crafting a +6 staff if you're really going for it, and then trying to sanctify to +7. I don't know if I would do this again. I would have to math it out. I've been using the staffs for weeks now. The next thing in the easy craft is the ring. So you can see here, I actually twice corrupted my ring because I got that bored. So what I would do here is I would grab a breach ring with tier 1 all LE res and tier 1 mana regen rate. I would then buy another ring of any base with max mana 179 to maximum mana. These bases maybe cost me like 16 exalts during the prime of the league. You then recombinate it with that lucky recombination. You're looking at about an 8% chance, and then you add lucky on top of that. You hit that, you're going to end up with a 3 mod ring. You then want to do a Kurt or an Ulamon suffix desecrate and then fracture. If you hit maximum mana, the ring is done because it is 100% deterministic from there. Otherwise, you're going to have a 50-50 or not a 50, a 2 out of 3 to at least have a ring. If you get the tier 1 life, it's going to be a 1 out of 3 to hit the ring. Because the next part is filling up the prefixes and then doing the increased mana. I think it's a perfect mind essence. To help get life, you can always do the Flesh Catalyst and slam a exalt with the Crystallized Omen. Or the Catalyzed Omen, I'm sorry. The next craft is the Amulet here. So you start with a Fractured All Spell base on a Spirit. You're gonna Chaos spam for +50 Spirit. You're going to then do Mana Catalyst and a perfect exalt with the greater exaltation and the catalyzing. They do work together based on testing from prohibited library. So don't be slamming these individually, especially right now where neural catalysts are like a divine each, I think. Suffixes, so prefixes, once you have those done, you're good. You can easily settle for tier 2 increased and tier 2 flat mana. Obviously, triple tier 1 is the best. But once prefixes are done, you can deterministically do the suffixes with a bit of RNG. The best suffix for me was all attributes because I am using Gem Enthusiast down here. I need at least 50 strength for the 5% increased life and 50 dex for the 5% movement speed. You'll see here I do have 90 strength, but I'm with 57 dex. So the all attributes is pretty much required for me there. You can also do percent int. And how I'd go about this is you do an attribute quality, then you do the catalyzing omen with a perfect result. If you hit tier 1 in or like tier 3 plus of all attributes, you're good. I would stop there and then just do the desecrate mod. This is a Kurgle mod as well, so you want to focus on those. If you don't hit that, let's say you hit dex on itself, you want to do a perfect infinite with a sinistral or the dexteral crystallization to then hit. Going on to like the helm, gloves, and boots, these are all pretty much you want to fracture either increased or flat energy shield, chaos for the other. Boots and gloves, I would do the prefixes first and then the suffixes. These were all pretty much RNG. The helm, I did the suffixes first, then the prefix. And a note on the helm as well, you'll see here 30% quality with 3 sockets. Bond users can do 30% quality without corrupting it. So you just kind of buy up the white bases and you spam Vol Infusers. I hit this on my 4th one, and then I hit the Fracture on my first try. And that's how you can get the 3 socket then with the corruption. I did lock it because I did not want to have to recraft this. That's pretty much it for the rare gear crafting. The belt, I believe, is the same. 100% increased effect of helmet using the Jaquani's Thesis with a Zatal just for more mana. That's why I need that high energy shield helmet. The Splendor, I am doing a hybrid evasion ES one. This one's near perfect. You could definitely hit 1,000 ES, but it's close enough. And that's just so that I can have 42 evasion, which it does feel great. Other thing here of damage recoup as life feels really good with a high amount of damage taken from mana before life, because this pretty much just completely regens me. If we don't have the prosthetic legs and limbs, whatever, you can grab recoup here and also get some more life. Anything else that I want to note? I don't think so. Or yeah, jewels. So the jewels here, I pretty much went for a 3.5 mod item. The percent N is really just to flex the mana number even higher. But you get a fractured, damage taken from mana before life. You then slam it up to 4 mods. You chaos spam until you hit the prefixes. It is mind numbing. There is other ways you could do it with omens. I just found chaos spam to be the most easy option. That I could just spam there doing chaos the entire time. And that's pretty much what I did for all the jewels here. You do want at least 1 jewel with recover max mana on kill, and another jewel with recover life on kill. I have enough mind over matter percentage from my adorned here that I can ignore 1 joule without that suffix, as seen here. I am using adorned. I slammed this and missed the 50% breakpoint by 2%. But this is just kind of like another flex item. You don't need it. It's getting me a bit more ignite magnitude. Like here you can see without the adorned, I go down to 544k. With the adorned, I'm 673k. It's not game breakingly good, but it does help get that mind over matter percentage a lot easier. Magic jewels are probably going to be better and easier to craft anyways. I think that's all I got. This video definitely is a lot longer than I thought, so I'm probably going to re-record this, so I'll see you guys next time.